What is the story?
TheHomoUniversity.
We have Dax. Dex? Is his name Dax? I'm gonna call him Dax. We have Dax the dragon, and he's trying to save his damn homeland from the Sabretooth clan. He met up with Walter Willard Mammoth, who has 400 names now. He is helping Dax on this mission. They found this band of gays, and they told them to go find Lindsay Lohan, and then they found themselves at a rehab center in China, where Lindsay Lohan pulled a dildo key out of her vagina, and then was torn to shreds by a Sabretooth. They then flew away on an invisible plane with Wonder Woman, and landed in Atlanta, and went dancing. Now we're here, so... Oh my god! So, Dax and Walter Willard Mammoth woke up in some strange bed, and Dax was so scared that his homeland had been destroyed by the Sabretooth clan when Baby Doll from Sucker Punch kicked down the door to the hotel room, and she was like, "What are you guys doing?" And Dax was so scared, he was like, "My homeland has been destroyed, there is no hope for me." No! When you were out dancing last night, your dance moves were in sync with the timeline of the universe, and you slowed down time, and you gave yourself an extra day. Surprise. Dax jumped out of bed and realized he had a massive hangover, and Baby Doll's like, "Here, let me do this dance for you." And he was so hypnotized that his hangover went away. And then Walter Willard Mammoth had to go poop, so he did that because he is a large animal, and I imagine that their poop is really big. So after Walter Willard Mammoth was cured of his chronic diarrhea, he kicked open the bathroom door, because nobody opens doors normally anymore. Everything is kicked down. And he was like, "What do we do now?" And Baby Doll's like, "You got the dildo key from Lindsay Lohan, right?" Dex reached in his asshole and plucked it out and said, "How did that get there?" And she was like, "That can be talked about later. Right now we need to save your homeland." And so then she called upon her 4 friends. She called upon the token Asian, who happened to live on an island next door to Dragonia. And she was like, "Yo, what's up, Dex?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, girl, I haven't seen you in years." And she was like, "Just hop in my plane." Don't dragons have wings? They flew... Where did they fly to? They flew to Neverland, where they ran into Spieling Peter. And he was like, "Oh!" And he led them to the Northeast Star, and there was a door. And on this door, there was a butthole-shaped lock. And they were like, "Oh, I wonder how we're going to open this." When suddenly Walter Willard Mammoth pulled the dildo-shaped key out of his ass. Sorry, guys. They shoved the dildo in the keyhole. I can't. And guess what was inside? Just guess. There were 3 Pokeballs, and they had to choose their starter Pokemon. In the world of Pokemon, the Sabretooth would be blue and be a water type, so they chose the grass type. Snivy. Dex, are you a boy or a girl? Enough of that bullshit. So Dex took Snivy in the Pokeball, and they all jumped on the token Asian's plane, and they flew back to Dragonia, which is actually... And they needed more time, so Dex and Baby Doll went into DDR tandem mode, and they got in sync and said, "No time, you can't do this anymore." And they landed in Dragonia. The 500 gay army of baton twirler, ribbon dancer, river dancer, tap dancers were there waiting. They were like, oh my god, we've been here for what seems like 2 days. They sent out Snivy, and then they waited, and then all of a sudden, these saber-toothed lions burrowed up out of the ground out of nowhere. The saber-toothed guy was like, yo, Dax, prepare to die. Prepare to die. And then Dax was like, Snivy, use Leaf Blade. Critical hit. It's super effective. And the saber-tooth died. And then everybody suddenly remembered the female dragon from the beginning of the story, and they all hopped over to the saber-tooth land and freed her. And then Dax and her had a copious amount of sex and repopulated Dragonia.